Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Sunday, November 30, 2025. And I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a blessed Sunday. And in the news this morning, 64-year-old St. Mary farmer charged for alleged sexual assault of child. A 64-year-old St. Mary farmer has been charged for allegedly sexual assaulting a child multiple times between 2023 and 2024. Dion Gifos, who is from Goshen District in Lucky Hill, is charged with 2 counts of rape and 3 counts of sexual touching of a child. According to the police, allegations are that sometime between 2023 and 2024, the child and an adult relative visited Gifos' residence where he reportedly used his hands to touch the girl inappropriately. It is being further alleged that sometime between 2024 and 2025, the girl again visited the farmer's house on 2 separate occasions where he sexually assaulted her. Following that incident, a report was made to the police and an investigation was launched into the incident. The farmer was taken into custody. He was charged on Wednesday, November 26, by the St. Mary's Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse after he was positively identified during an identification parade. A court date is being finalized. St. Catherine man released after 5 days in custody without a charge. A St. Catherine man who has been held at the Portmore Police lockup for 5 days without being charged has been freed by a parish court judge. Roger Moore was released on Friday. In making an application, attorney-at-law Denise Hinson told the court that her client had been in custody since November 23, despite no formal charge being laid against him. According to Hinson, the matter stemmed from an incident in July 2025 when Moore was employed as a painter at a residence where a sum of money reportedly went missing. He was taken into custody and subsequently released without a charge, the attorney explained. Recently, he bought a car and the police again arrested him on the same complaint. The court was told that multiple attempts to resolve the issue had proven futile. After hearing the submission, Senior Parish Court Judge Desiree Elaine ruled that Moore's detention violated Section 541 of the Bail Act, which requires that a person be charged or released within 48 hours unless the matter involves murder or another scheduled offense. Moore was subsequently ordered released from custody. Portland residents are told to guard against the rats after floods. Health officials are warning residents to guard against rodents after Hurricane Melissa disrupted habitats in October. Medical Officer of Health Dr. Sharon Lewis and the Chief Public Health Inspector Lorenzo Hume said the flooding across the parish has increased the risk of rats moving into homes and businesses in search of food. The recent reports of flooding across the parish and the island increased the risk of disease-carrying rodents entering premises, Lewis said. This raises the danger of exposure to leptospirosis. Homeowners and food establishments should seal all possible entry points. People should also avoid wading in floodwaters, especially where rodents or other animals are present. Leptospirosis may be contracted from ingesting food or water contaminated with feces or urine of infected animals or through broken skin and mucous membranes exposed to contaminated sources. The disease causes high fever, headache, red eyes, muscle aches, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, and jaundice. Most cases resolve with treatment, but complications can be fatal if diagnosis is delayed, Lewis added. Hume noted that heavy rainfall displaces rats, birds, and other animals, pushing them closer to homes. Ensure all openings are sealed to prevent rodents from entering, he said. Rats will move in now that the vegetation and the fruit trees have been disturbed, and waste buildup also contributes. As of November 22, 11 deaths have been recorded in relation to leptospirosis, 3 of which were confirmed cases. There are 91 suspected or probable cases, with 10 confirmed through testing. The Health Ministry said it continues efforts to limit the spread of leptospirosis and other diseases following the hurricane which struck Jamaica on October 28. In order to guard against the leptospirosis, avoid food exposed to floodwaters or animal urine. Do not swim, wade, or play in floodwaters. Wear protective clothing and footwear in contaminated areas. Handle animals carefully, especially those exposed to floodwaters, and seek medical care immediately if flu-like symptoms appear. Holness urges U.S. not to disrupt regional stability in its fight against the drug smugglers. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging the United States to ensure that its fight against alleged drug cartels in the Caribbean does not disrupt the peace and economic stability of the region. Since early September, the U.S. military has carried out 21 strikes against the suspected Venezuelan drug vessels in the Caribbean Sea and the eastern Pacific coast of Latin America, killing at least 83 people. Holness was questioned about the tension between the U.S. and Venezuela and the associated risk to the region during an interview with Bloomberg at the recent G20 summit in South Africa.
We always maintain that the Caribbean is a zone of peace, and we want to ensure that it is a zone of peace. Any action that challenges that or changes that view would have or could have devastating impact on tourism, which is the major foreign exchange earner for most countries in the Caribbean. Having said that, however, there must be consideration for countries in the region for rising crime, rising transshipment, and drugs. So there is need to tackle this. So whatever is being done should be done with consideration for the economy of the region, safety and respect for the sovereignty of the people. But Jamaica does support actions against drug cartels and other actors.
The U.S. has also deployed an aircraft carrier to the Caribbean as part of a larger military buildup. Last month, CARICOM issued a statement in which the heads of government reiterated their continued commitment to fighting narco-trafficking and the illegal trade in small arms and light weapons, which adversely affected the region. But they underscored that efforts to overcome these challenges should be through ongoing international cooperation and within international law. JPS debt climbs as profits dip in third quarter. Data released by the Jamaica Public Service indicated that its debt load increased while its profits are decreasing during the third quarter, which ended on September 30 this year. This is particularly relevant given the government's decision to lend the company $150 million of the $350 million it needs to borrow in order to fully rehabilitate the grid in the wake of devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. The company was carrying a long-term loan of US $273.4 million on its books during the third quarter of this year, compared with US $233.9 million during the same period of the previous year. At the same time, customers' deposits jumped to US $32.3 million from US $21.4 million. The Light and Power Company was already carrying total liabilities of US $1.1 billion during the period which ended on September 30 this year. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.